Hello, welcome back to the Spider's Web, and as you can see we are here again with our Wights. We're going to be carrying on doing a little more on these today. That's highlighting the green areas, extreme highlighting the crest on the helmet, and then highlighting the gold areas, and well, basically we're just doing highlighting. We'll see how far we get, shall we? Okay, so which one was it now? I think it was, I can't remember. Yeah, it was this one. I noticed I've gone over green, I've gone over some of this that should be metal in green, so I'm going to have to go over that again, but rather than go over with the paler gold colour that I used originally, I'm going to use the Warplock bronze and cover it, because, well, basically if I don't, it's a case of going to have to what's the word I'm looking for? I'm going to have to I'm going to have to give it another wash. I don't want to do that. Okay, so let's get cracking, shall we? So I'll just go all around the edge of this with the Warplock bronze. So you don't need a great amount. We're just filling in. If you see anywhere else that needs a touch up, then we'll do that as well. Because there are a few areas where I've got green on it. Oh yeah. But if you do one side, try and do them both so they actually match. Okay, I think that's it. I can't remember seeing any more. Let's just double check to be on the safe side. There's no areas I've missed. I'm not really bothered about going over every little bit of metal that's got green on. As I said in the previous video, it might give it that interesting look, shall we say. But as far as I can see, that is it for what do we call it, the metal areas that I need to touch up. Okay, so what we're going to do first, when I say first, I meant the first major part of this. Well, let's get the what we call it, crest sorted out, and for this we're going to be using Calidor Sky again, but we're going to put in the Calidor Sky a little bit of Screaming Skull, which you know about from previous videos of mine. We're going to make it that bit lighter. There we are. Actually, I think I will use a little bit of white in this as well, make it that much paler, because it might look a little interesting. There we are. Makes it look like the old ice blue from GW. Not quite as bright though, but it's there. I just want to take some of it off, and we'll just be brushing it over the top edges and down a little bit, just so we know where the light's hitting. And that's it for that one. For this one, we're just going to be doing a little spot here and there on this area, not a great deal. That's it. And on this one, it's going to be very similar to the first, where we just going from the top, and that is quite literally it for the blue colour. Next, what we're going to be doing is concentrating on the green areas. And the half-hit colour for that is going to be Warboss green in some cases, and a different colour green in others. But I said the first green we're going to be using is Warboss green, and we're going to use that for some of the more shadowed parts that are green, if you get my drift. So this part here will be the Warboss green. The cape, I'm calling it a cape for want of a better word, this flowing piece of material is going to be a lighter green, but this Warboss green is, as I say, going to be the highlight colour for the bits that are going to be more in shadow. It's just to make it stand out just that little bit more, if you get me drift. There we are. That's it for that one. And finally for this one, just a bit of a touch down at the bottom parts of that, a little on there, and that really is it, as we're going to be doing for that colour. The next green we're going to be using is one of the old greens, and when I say one of the old greens, I mean one of the old greens. I still have Scorpion green. I think now the colour is Moot green, if I remember rightly. I may be wrong, I don't have it yet, but I think that's the modern variation of this. We're going to add that to our palette, dry the brush off slightly, and then we'll go along and just touch here and there. And as you can see, although it's a really bright green, once it goes on this Caliban green, it does dull down, and it doesn't make it too bright. There we are. It's quite a watery green anyway, but using this on a wet palette as well does actually take a lot of the garishness out of this. And what you can do as well, if you so wish, is, in fact I'll show you on the next model, because there's extra little bits and pieces on that one that there isn't on this, on these two. There we go. Now, what we can do with this is actually go down. There's quite a quite a wide crease that we can actually use to our use in our favour. But that's that done. Now, as I say, what we could do with this now is we could actually mix this scorpion green in with the Warplot bronze, the Warboss green. But first, oops, I just want to go down these, oops, these areas, and there's one hiding away in there which we'll just touch on. We don't want to make a big deal out of that one because that is in shadow. Right, just knock that one over again with my finger. Here we are. And I say it's not doing an incredibly good job of a dry brush, this, because as I say it's a watery green anyway, and we're adding water to it on the wet palette. So, but I am adding a touch of the Warboss green to it to go over those pieces here, the sashes that are coming down. Not that it makes any blinding bit of difference. I think I may need a bit of a drier palette than this to work from, but I think we may have cracked it. There we are. That will do the job. So the robes are finally done. I've got the feeling that my wet palette is a little too wet today. It's not been wet enough the other times I've used it, but never mind. Now what I want is a bright gold and a bright silver. So the bright gold we're going to be using is not shining gold. There's another gold I bought, which is a much nicer one. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? That's rat skin flesh. That's scrag brown, ballard brown. There we are. This is the one I'm talking about. It's a lovely bright shiny gold. I'm not sure whether it's the replacement for burnished gold or not, but it's auric armour gold. And for this we're going to be using painting with this, rather, as you can possibly imagine, quite a bit of the armour. But again, we're going to be using a dry brush technique on this, and we're going to be going over, first of all, the gloves. We'll go over the top area of the knee pad. We don't want to be going over the bottom of it because that's going to be in shadow, as you can imagine. We'll also do that part as well. And the elbow. Okay, so that's that done. With this one, we're going to be doing different areas. With these, so they're not going to look exactly the same. Each one is going to have its own style of armour. We're going to have a chest piece done in this, the helmet, I think it's a thigh guard or whatever it may be, we'll do that as well, and again the knee pad and the shin pad, we'll do them as well in this. And with this fella, it's going to be again the helmet, going to be parts of the handle of the axe and the glove. But again, we don't want anything that's on the underneath, so we'll just brush down slightly. I think that's leather. Also do the buckles for those. I think that's leather, so I'm going to change the gloves on this. So while I'm changing the gloves on this, I'm going to do that as well, and that. Okay, so I'm going to do the gloves in leather, so I'm going to use rhinox hide, which we use for the straps and the pouch of one of them. And it was the guy with the great axe, wasn't it? So he's going to get his hands covered in this, and I think by the look of it, he does have some form of armour there, so I'm not going to do all of it in this rhinox hide, just the majority. Just the majority. And as soon as I said that, it sounded wrong. There we go. So as I said, don't be rushing to try and get it completed all at once. If it doesn't cover fully on the first coat, come back again and apply a second. Okay, now what we're going to be using is, when I can find it, here we go. That's iron breaker. Don't want iron breaker. Don't want dawnstone. Don't want administratum grey. Don't tell me you have no silver coloured paint. Ah, there we are. Runefang steel. Right in the corner. Here we go. Runefang steel. And we're going to be using this for some more highlighting. Making sure we get some really brightly coloured silver. It's a very thick paint, I'm afraid, so looks like I'm going to have to be adding some water in with this, but not yet. I'm going to come down here with this, touch over there, touch over there, touch over that. I'm definitely going to be doing there, and the hilt. And the dagger. There we are. majority of the armour is now done. I think that might be a leather glove as well. I'm going to do it as a leather glove. Not even going to bother washing my brush out, so I'm just going to use the brown straight over the Runefang steel. I know I should really wash it out because it's going to make it sparkle a little bit, but yeah, well. Not to worry, not to worry. So we just need to there we are. That's that. Now I'm going to wash it up because I want to go back to the Runefang steel. And we're going to be going over to this fella. And for him we're going to be just touch highlighting here and there a few places, not going overboard with anything. The axe head definitely needs doing, which may come as a big surprise to everybody. There we are. Do the handle as well. And so we're just basically highlighting adding that little extra sparkle with some of these areas, not actually what you call it, doing much in the line of getting paint on the model. It's just trying to add that little bit of a sparkle. There we are. And anywhere I've done the Runefang steel and laterite this colour, or in some areas I'll not be doing it, but in the areas where I've done the Runefang steel it will be getting rusted. And the fireworks are going off. There we are. I'm just going to add a touch to the edge of this. As I say, it's going to get rusted, but I just want to add a little bit of brightness to it to make it stand out a touch. Okay, that's that done. Now what I want is a colour to act as the highlights for the wooden parts of the weapons. And that colour is going to be, when I can find it, not Agrax Earthshade. Okay, it's going to be Scrag Brown. Okay, mixed with some Screaming Skull. Okay, so the Scrag Brown goes on the palette, and the Screaming Skull will go in there as well. It's not much of a difference. Sorry, not much of a difference. It's not much of in Screaming Skull in comparison to the Scrag Brown, but what's that? Just to make it stand out that little bit more. There we go. And there's not much of this needs being done. And it's just wafty, 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 wafty. Wafty, 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 wafty. That's all we're doing, just to highlight the wooden areas. There we are. And now it's time for that part I really do like. The part that I really do like is basically, oh hang on, there's one part I've forgotten about, and that's the chappie's shoes. In fact, not his shoes, no, it's the what you call it, the straps on this fella. I want to highlight this area, and for that one just, we've added a little bit more screaming skull to the mix we've just used for the wood to make it much lighter, as you can see. There we are, that's that bit done. There's a pouch here that needs doing. I'm just going to wipe a little bit off and then just go wafty, 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 wafty. There we are. And next we're going to be using the fang. I'm sure I had that out, but I haven't. I'll be using the fang. If you remember this, we use this for the base coat for the crest. On the helmet. But now we're going to be using it for the highlight for the boots. There we go. Because this might come as a bit of a surprise, but when you're painting, the highlight colour for snow, sorry, the shadow colour for snow is blue. The highlight colour for black is blue. Well, at least that's how I use. I think it gives a good effect. I don't think there's, oh, yep, there is, there's the dagger here. It just needs a, I'll touch up nothing on that one, and it's a dagger on this fella as well as his boots. There we are. And boots here as well. And that is almost it. It's just the gloves to highlight, and for that I'm going to use that mix of the scrag brown and the screaming skull mixed in with a touch of brown, the what do you call it, brown, the rhinox hide, and it's quite simply just a case of that. That's all we're doing for the highlights for the gloves. There we are. So there's our 3 whites done. Now it's just the finishing touches of rust. And that, as we usually do, is typhus corrosion. There we are. Applied. As usual with the brush. I'm using this straight out of the tub. I'm not putting this on the palette. It's quite watery as is, so I don't particularly want to be adding it to a wet palette. Yeah, I'm just going to go over that part, this part. There's a little bit of chainmail there. I'm going to go over that. And I'm going to go over that. There we go, and that's it for him. There's not much on these that I really want to rust. It's just what am I going to say then? There's just certain areas that I want to just give a touch of rust to. And finally, the axe head is going to get some. That area is going to get some. I just like the idea of an undead army that's really, really rusty and dishevelled. It might just be me, but it's just something that appeals to my my nature. There we are. I think that is it. Now I don't know whether that first bit is dry or not yet, but we'll soon find out. Just as soon as I get my brush dried, we can have a look and see if it does indeed look as though it is. So what we do next is, using our changing over to our dry brush, we get out the riser rust. I don't know why I keep trying to shake it, because it's a solid paint, and I'm shaking it again because I'm stupid. And we'll get our old-fashioned palette, bound the riser rust on it, stabby, 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 and just there we are. As I said, I don't want this being as rusty as the others. I want these being fairly fairly bright. think that is about all I'm going to do for this fella. I can't see any other areas that need doing. No, that isn't one. I just want some rust on all of my undead army. And what do we have here? Here we go. I think that is all I can see on that one. We're all done. And now this one. And I just like the fact that what is it called? Typhus corrosion is such a thin paint it actually doesn't clog up any details, as you can see on the axe head. And that, I think, is it for him. So next job now is to can't put him in the middle because no matter which one, he's got to go on the end, hasn't he? So put him in the middle. He's got to go on the end, and that's it. So that's the 3-man squad of Wights, and that's all we get for this particular regiment. We don't get any more than 3. We don't get any less than 3. You can have multiple ones, obviously, but it's a 3-man regiment of Wights. All done and dusted. So once these have dried, I shall be obviously gluing them down onto a piece of plastic card. I just need to get my hands on the plastic card. I've put it somewhere and I can't see it at the moment, so well, I can, yeah, I'll do that when I can find the plastic card. So it's just a case of covering the base with PVA, sand, doing the usual routine with it, gluing it down to the plastic card, cutting out the old coffee stirrers and making a base, and well, that's it for those. So another series out of the way. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing next time, whether I'm going to be going over something more with the Space Hulk lots, because I've only done 2 models with them so far, or whether I shall be sticking with Kings of War and making a start on my archers, or whether I do something completely different. Stay tuned, because only then will we find out what's going to happen. So until then, if I don't see you beforehand, it's now the 29th of December, so if I don't manage to get on and get a video done beforehand, I want to take the time to say just now, have a very Merry Christmas. Bit early, but have a Merry Christmas for 2015. Have a happy New Year. Have a happy and healthy New Year. And don't forget, we have a competition running. Links to the video for that will be about there. And I'll also put a link in the description of this video. But until next time rather, as always, take care, God bless, and bye for now.